everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a slight, it's a comparison video. I have the original of a very expensive fragrance, and I have a fairly more cost-efficient dupe or clone of that fragrance to compare and contrast for you. So the two fragrances that I am talking about are, the first one, the expensive one, is from Guerlain, and this is part of their art and materials collection, and it is Angelique Noire. So as you see, my bottle is quite old. It looks quite old, but it's still got that beautiful nameplate there. And then the dupe or the clone is new from Dua, and it is their Dark Angelica. So where's the name? There it is. So Dua just released Dark Angelica about a month ago from when I'm filming this, and I picked it up pretty much as soon as there was a sale because I really wanted to see how it compared to the Angelique Noire that I love and how I remember it in its prime. I actually don't spray or splash directly from this bottle. As you see, there is no longer a nozzle straw tube thingamajigger in this particular bottle because of the fact that this is a bulb atomizer. It did introduce air into the fragrance bottle, and the atomizer straw or tube, whatever you call that, actually began to oxidize. And these stripes that you see here are where that tube was touching the glass on the inside and was oxidizing against it. You can also see small particles floating. That's all because of the oxidation of the rubber or the plastic tube that was not as well made as the rest of the bottle. Just for future reference, I always recommend that if you're buying a fragrance, especially an expensive fragrance, that you simply avoid bulb atomizers 100%. They are more trouble than they're worth. They look good on a vanity, but they don't really actually give you a good spray of fragrance. You are incorporating a lot of oxygen into your fragrance, which helps break it down quite a bit faster and will cause the decay of the scent much quicker than it would normally. What I have done is I've taken some of the juice and I've decanted it. I've decanted it into a 10 ml apothecary style little bottle here. This has a fairly heavy duty spray, and it's also not the best for leaking. It does leak a little bit, but it's still much easier to get out than it is from its original packaging. The Dua version, as you can see, has a much lighter golden juice. This is lighter than Angelique Noire ever was, at least my bottle, but I do expect that this will darken because of the vanilla that's inside of it. Overall, let's talk about Angelique Noire first, because I just put some on my left hand here, and I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit more. You don't need a lot, especially because this juice is quite old. You might find that it is unpleasant if you spray too much. But with just a little bit, I'm able to get the hint of what it was when I first purchased it, as well as get the beautiful dry down notes. It's got a very rich vanilla note, something woody and creamy. I can still smell a hint of the Angelica in the top. The fruits that are at the top have all pretty much vanished. But of course it does smell a little bit off. It doesn't smell like a fresh fragrance, which is why I do not wear this for that. You know, I don't wear this very often. I mostly wear it for nostalgic purposes, and when I do, I just wear the decanted. Interestingly enough, I have another fragrance from Guerlain that had a bulb atomizer as well that did not have the issues with oxidization that Angelique Noire did. So I do wonder if there was some ingredient in here that accelerated the process to an extent that it was quite severe with this particular fragrance. With that being said, Dark Angelica, I'll spray it on my right hand here. It has more of an alcohol scent right off the bat. Like, this is pretty much going to be almost entirely fragrance molecules now. It's absorbed just about all of the carrier fluid. So you can see by the sheen on my hand, it's just pretty much all fragrance oil. It just sticks in place. The Dark Angelica doesn't have that same sheen. It's still very loose in its incorporation with its carrier. But once that alcohol-y scent kind of just evaporates, you just let it do its thing and get out into the wild. It's interesting because when I first tried Dark Angelica and I smelled it, and I really thought to myself, like, oh my god, this smells exactly like Angelique Noire, especially what it smelled like when it was fresh. But now that I'm smelling it compared to the actual Angelique Noire, even this version of it, there is a difference. Dark Angelica doesn't feel as smooth. It does feel a bit rougher around the edges. It also doesn't have as much of a vanilla presence as the Angelique Noire does. And Angelique Noire to me was never a vanilla heavy fragrance, but even with the amount of vanilla that it has present in it, I am noticing it lacking in Dark Angelica, which is interesting because when I first tried this, when I first sprayed this, that really wasn't something I noticed. But when put side by side, it is quite obvious. It may be because this is still in the top notes. There's still no dry down effect just because I sprayed this only minutes ago, but it's noticeably lighter, fresher, and greener than the the Angelique Noire, which is deep, rich, sexy. And now some of those like kind of like questionable qualities that maybe make you think it might have turned, those also sort of evaporate, and it's left as quite a beautiful, rich fragrance. It's definitely not at its best anymore, but it's still clearly a well done fragrance. This is still very clearly a well made fragrance. So I'm going to set this aside for now because I can't talk to the top notes here because of the fact that Angelique Noire just really doesn't have any anymore. But going in with Dark Angelica, I am starting to pick up a little bit more richness. There's something that's a little bit more there's a little bit more of a rich scent. I'm going to actually, did I bring my phone? Yeah. I'm going to look up the notes for these because I'm not really sure what the 100% of the notes are for each of these. So let me just look them up. So as I'm looking at this, Dua is having a 15% off website. It's not their best, but so Dua Dark Angelica, here you are. Dua's Dark Angelica is classified as an oriental floral with notes of Angelica, pear, pink pepper, caraway, jasmine, vanilla, and cedarwood. So cedarwood's that kind of more woody note that is contributing to the darkness of this juice. For Guerlain Angelique, let's look at Angelique Noire. Fun fact, I named my cat Angelique because Angelique Noire is one of my favorite perfumes of all time. It's also got the word angel in it, which is another one of my favorite perfumes of all time. You guys didn't really care, but we're just looking up, so. So Angelique Noire is pretty much the same composition as Dark Angelica. The top notes are Angelica, pear, and pink pepper. The middle notes are jasmine and caraway. I'm trying to get it so you're not being blinded. There it is. But there's also the addition of another level of Angelica in the base, which Angelica is a difficult note to describe because it does sort of smell differently to different noses. To me, the Angelica flower has a very crisp fragrance, almost herbaceous in tone. It's not something that I would consider growing for bouquets or for fragrancing the air, but it's a beautiful flower. This particular scent is quite noticeably herbal in my opinion. Both Angelique Noire and Dark Angelica have that herbaceous quality. Dark Angelica even more so as it begins to dry down. So I'm always surprised by people who find this as a sweet fragrance or a vanilla heavy fragrance, because in my opinion, with these other notes in play, there's just not a lot of sweetness that could really come through other than to make it palatable for most people. So if you are interested in Guerlain's Angelique Noire and the notes make you nervous despite the way that you've heard people to be describing it, I feel like you're actually, in all fairness, you're right to be concerned. I don't think it's something that, despite the hype it gets, I don't think it's a fragrance that is pleasing for everyone. However, I will go ahead and say that Dark Angelica from Dua is a close enough clone or dupe of this fragrance that you could buy this, wear it, see if you like it, get it when it's 30% off and you're only going to be paying like $40. See if you like it, and if you find yourself really drawn to it, you're using it quite often, you may want to go ahead and then invest in the Guerlain Angelique Noire. One thing I will also mention is that between these two, the Angelique Noire, between these two, Dark Angelica has a longer lasting power as well as greater sillage than Angelique Noire ever did, but Angelique Noire has more of a it puts you in a more beautiful fragrance cloud than Angelique or Dark Angelica does. So if you want to smell classy and you want to smell refined, and you had both of these sitting in your desk, at your boudoir, then you'd want to go for the Guerlain version. It is more refined, it is more beautiful. You can tell that a higher quality of ingredient was used. You can tell there was greater care taken to the blending. Everything about it in regards to the quality is is better. You are getting your money's worth, essentially. With that being said, Dark Angelica is not by any means a bad or inferior product. It's simply more of a mass market friendly product. So if you are on the fence, or even if you just don't want to spend the Guerlain prices, the Dark Angelica is absolutely a worthwhile clone or dupe for you to invest in. I've said it before, but I don't have any affiliations with Dua. I've purchased these with my own money, and I am only talking about them for the benefit of people who are interested in trying something but not interested in paying the high price tag. I have no affiliate codes or anything like that. So I hope that if you were interested in Angelique Noire or Dua's version Dark Angelica, that you found this video useful, entertaining, or helpful. I stole that from Coffee Break with Danny. If you guys know, you know, right? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a subscription. Give me your subscription if you haven't subscribed already. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload next. And I will see you in the next video, you guys. Bye.